Thank all of you who have made it an effort to be here in time for this morning, and we'd like to get started. I think we're a little bit behind schedule. We had scheduled to start at 9 a.m., so I'll get right into it. We do have with us for this seminar two very distinguished presenters, and I think I would do them an injustice if I tried to introduce them. So I would allow each of them to give their own introductions on who they are, what qualifies them for being a part of this process, and leading us and creating a heightened awareness and understanding of legal and contractual issues and managing and negotiating those in the music sector. So without further ado, what I want to do is to call on Mr. Keith Harris and Mr. John Smith, who are co-presenters for this seminar, to kick us off. And then when they're finished, before and after we've done any personal introductions or the icebreakers, I will give you a bit more information on what the format for the sessions will be going forward over the course of today and tomorrow. So Keith and John, welcome.
Thank you, David. Hi, I'm John Smith. A pleasure to be here. I'll tell you a bit about my background. I was a professional musician. I worked in London for 25 years as a musician, and then I kind of drifted into working for the Musicians Union there. I was always the musician that waved a finger at people who were making rehearsals go too far and making the musicians' lives a bit difficult, and it kind of was an obvious thing for me to start to do that as a living. And for the last 15 years, almost 15 years, I've been the General Secretary, which is the head of the Musicians Union in the UK. Now, that's got 30,000 members, 30,000 musicians, who work in all different kinds of music. We don't distinguish between any genre of music. So they work in symphony orchestras and chamber orchestras. They work in bands and sort of garage and grime and everything that you can imagine, every genre there. We've got a lot of jazz musicians. We've got different age groups. The gender balance in our union is about, it varies between 3/4 and 2/3 men and the rest women. So there is a bias among performers towards men. That's something we're working on, and we think we'll touch upon that in the sessions to come. So I've, as well as my duties in the UK, since 2004, I've been the president of the International Federation of Musicians. Now, the International Federation of Musicians uses its FIM acronym. It's French acronym, which is FIM, Fédération Internationale des Musiciens. So sorry about the accent, but that's it. So our office is based in Paris. We've got 64 countries represented. Some of them have more than one musicians union or guild or association, call it what you will. They more or less do the same job. And we've worked a lot at capacity building and development around the world. We've got two projects at the moment, one in sub-Saharan Africa, which is funded by a Swedish organization. And we're talking about copyrights and contracts, very much the sort of stuff we're going to be talking about over the next few days. And we've also got one in Latin America, which is about equality issues and about share of income in the music industry. And they've been very successful. That's been funded partly by Dutch organizations. So we kind of raise the money where we can to fund these organizations and to get experts out to talk to our people. We just had our World Congress. That was held in Iceland, in Reykjavik, which was quite an experience. And we had about 200 delegates from all over the world, including the Australians came. It's quite a trip for them. And we had lots of Latin Americans, and we had 4 African countries, which was really good. Nobody from the Caribbean, so we'll have to try and remedy that over the course of the next few days. And I'll be telling you a bit more about FIM as we go through that. Now, we've done this kind of thing a lot, and these seminars and these workshops really rely on you to get involved as much as us. You've got to pick our brains. Neither Keith nor I are lawyers, but we deal with lawyers all the while, and we can be quite cynical at times. Sorry to the lawyers if you're in the room. So we know the ins and outs of contracts. We know the pitfalls of contracts. We see where it goes wrong. And what we want to do when we do this sort of thing is make sure that we limit the ways it goes wrong. It is a minefield out there, and music can be a very strange business. It's the Wild West in many respects. So I'm looking forward to talking to you, and you'll get to know me, and I'll get to know you a lot better, and of course the next couple of days. I'll hand over to Keith now.
Good morning. Right, my name is Keith Harris, sometimes Dr. Keith Harris, depending on the setting. It's not very rock and roll, so I tend not to use that very much. To give you a bit of my background, I've been in the music business quite a long time. My starting point, depending on whether you started as when I was a student, which is kind of when I really started in the music industry, was 46 years ago. Or if you take from when I got my first record company job, that's 42 years ago. So I've been in the business for quite a while. And like many people of my kind of generation, I stumbled into the industry. Back in those days, what used to happen was you'd have 6 guys who get together to form a group. And 4 of them could play, so they were automatically in. Well, 3 of them could play. The 4th one became the drummer. And the 5th one had a van, so they were useful. And the 6th one that wasn't any of those things became the manager. And that was kind of my original entry into the music business. You'd be surprised to hear that the group didn't make it. Nothing to do with the fact the manager hadn't got a clue what he was doing. It was just, they didn't make it. Take it from me. Okay, so since then, I've worked in the record industry. I started in a small record company back in 1974. I then moved to EMI Records, which at that time was the licensing company for the Motown label. I became head of promotions for the Motown label in 1976. I moved to Los Angeles in 1978 and became personal manager for Stevie Wonder, who I've worked with ever since. I then moved back to the UK in the early 80s and started my own small management company. I've managed a whole series of groups. My career, it's probably not the right word, but my work path then took a slightly unusual turn in that I was asked to, and I wrote the music business module of the Honours Degree in Commercial Music for the University of Westminster back in 1991-92, and taught on that business degree for 16 years. I've also been the chairman of the Music Managers Forum, which is the managers' trade body in the UK, and the chairman of an organisation called Music Tank, which is a music industry networking organisation, and again, backed by the University of Westminster. I was, until January of this year, Director of Performer Affairs for Britain's collective management neighbouring rights organisation called PPL. I'm still a consultant to PPL, and I dabble in various other aspects of the industry. So what I'm looking for today and what I'm hoping for is that we're going to actually have a very interactive couple of days, because what myself and John intend to do is set out the way that things work in a kind of a developed intellectual property context. I'm aware that here in Barbados you have a lot of local difficulties with the way in which that operates. Now, obviously, we're not privy to that. We can't really help too much on that. But what we hope to do is give you a context in which things work properly, and hope that through pressure and through arming you with the knowledge and the information about how things can work properly, you can bring pressure to bear on those in charge to make sure that that can be replicated here. Because the creative industries are a huge driving force in terms of economic activity worldwide. In the UK, it was only, I think, in about 1997 that the first report was published showing the economic importance of the music industry to the UK economy. In 1997, a report was published by an organisation called British Invisibles, which proved that the music industry was worth more to the British government than British steel. And that was the first time the government sat up and took notice of how important the creative industries can be. So we're hoping to arm you with the information to help bring about that kind of change here, so the government really understand intellectual property. It's one of those areas which people don't quite get until they actually see the power and the driving force. Last year, in I was going to say in the United States, actually worldwide, the best-selling records, the top 10 best-selling singles, 5 of them were from British performers. 3 of them were from Canadian performers, and only 2 were from American performers. So you can see that having 5 out of 10 of the best-selling singles worldwide coming out of the UK, you can see what an important driving force the creative industries can be if they operate properly. So hopefully, like I say, over the next couple of days, we'll have a good interactive discussion, and hopefully it will help you to build that kind of economy here in Barbados. Thank you.
Thanks, John and Keith. So let me just, before I hand over back to them to lead off with the icebreaker activities, I thought I wanted to give everyone in the room an opportunity to understand who is here today. So if each of you, starting from the first table, could give a brief introduction on yourselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you hope to get out of this workshop. That would be a nice start. And then I would, in terms of housekeeping, both sessions really should be held right here. The idea was for us to have split the rooms and then flip-flop the sessions and who's presenting and what, so you could have gotten more personalized attention in smaller groups. But because we don't have the full numbers of registrants yet, depending on how we are going forward, if this is the size, we'll just keep this. If everybody comes, all 35 that we're expecting, then we'll do a split right after the main plenary and icebreakers. So, but let me get started by just asking for us to give a brief introduction on ourselves right here. Steve, maybe you want to start us off? Or let me use the microphone, sorry.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Lubin. I'm the CEO of CRS Music and Media. CRS Music and Media was established in 1992. Next year's our 25th anniversary. We've just released our 124th album in our catalog. We have about 3,000 songs in our catalog, and I administer some 5,000 songs on the internet. I'm here to get my head around related rights, and that's the honest truth. Okay, take care.
Good morning. I'm Stuart Motley, attorney at law. I've been working with COSCAP for the last 15 years. Also engaged in various other activities from business side of it, publishing and other things. I am here just to keep abreast of what's happening.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Paula Gall. I'm a singer and songwriter. This is the 3rd seminar I'm attending, and basically just wanted to learn more about the music industry and today's topic in terms of dealing with contracts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diana John. I'm an artist and performer, and I'm here representing COSCAP on the directors.
Good morning. My name is Joanne Seeley, and I work for the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, 29 years almost. I am also the senior announcer of Q 100.7 FM, which is one of the 3 radio stations at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. Today for me, it's learning more about the music industry and, of course, contracts and the rights of the musician and how CBC will play a role, more vital role in that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diane Fort. I work like Joanne. We work together forever at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. I moved from being a broadcaster into sales and marketing, which is where I'm stationed now. And I think Joanne pretty much said it. We work with the artists we have to. That's our business. So for us, we need to understand more what we're doing and to ensure that we don't infringe artists' rights, that we don't come afoul. with COSGAP. And just to understand, I think as the gentleman there said, the related rights, so that when we're doing our promos, commercials, everything, we understand the parameters or how we can work with the artists.
Good morning. My name is Roel Ward. I am Director of Pyramid Entertainment, one of the leading artist management and booking companies on the island. We're also a sister company to Headline Entertainment in Jamaica, which represents quite a few of the reggae and dancehall artists there. We do represent quite a few of the popular local and regional entertainers. I'm here today to wrap my head around the copyright issues and the naming rights aspects of it.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Knight. I'm artist manager from Odyssey Entertainment. I have a young artist I work with called Alexander Mills. He's a singer-songwriter, acoustic artist. I'm just here this morning to hear more about contracts and stuff like that, and looking forward for what the panelists have to say. All right, thanks.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Ann Waith, and I am an upcoming artist manager. I'm here to learn as much as I can about artist rights and about contracts.
Good morning. My name is Merlene Weeks Libert. I'm a deputy registrar at the Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property Office with responsibility for copyright. I also sit as the office's representative on the COSGAP board.
Good morning. My name is Sonia Mullins, and I've represented artists here in Barbados. Well, locally, regionally, and internationally. I have to give Chantal a little shout out. So I know the business from both ends, here in Barbados and also internationally. My background is in marketing, and I've also sat on the board of COSGAP for many, many years.
Good morning. My name is Stetson Wilshire, former director of COSGAP, member of the Barbados Copyright Tribunal. I'm an entertainer, lyricist, and composer, the owner of Bayfree Records Limited. I have a catalog of over 400 songs. I'm here this morning to gather as much information as I can.
Hey, good morning. My name is Andrew Weeks. I'm one of the directors of 4D Entertainment. We put on the event Soca on the Hill. And also this year we did Bashment Soca in conjunction with the NCF. And I'm just basically here to hear the ins and outs and to go find out the right procedures in terms of the artist contracts and stuff like that when dealing with the artists and stuff.
Hi, my name is Jordan Branker, and I'm interning at COSGAP for the summer. And I'm just here to learn more about the internal workings of the music industry.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Craig Freeman. I'm founder of High Art Entertainment Group, one of the newest artist management companies in Barbados. We mainly manage gospel artists. So I'm here to kind of reposition ourselves within the gospel industry and the stakeholders of the music industry. Get to know everyone here, so that you guys can get to know the gospel artists on the island, and then learn everything that there is to know about how we could take what we do in the gospel industry and make it a little bit more known.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Randy Eastman, musician, music producer, music educator, and creative director of Quantum Productions, which is a production company and also event planning company as well. And I'm basically here to understand, as you said, how it works in a functioning industry and how we could possibly look to get to that level eventually.
Good morning. My name is Coral Taylor. I work at the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation, and I'm a business development officer. And I've just recently taken over the culture industry and portfolio, so I'm just here to learn everything I can. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Akasha Kunar. I am a singer, songwriter, model, actress. I am currently here because I am working out all of my careers mainly in LA, and so therefore this is a current situation that I'm dealing with in finding a manager over there and just being able to see exactly what I should be looking for so that I don't get, the usual.
I am Janelle Marie Noel. I represent the Caribbean Development Bank, and we are co-sponsors of this workshop.
Thank you very much. So, Keith, John, I can now hand over to you for the breakout to start your icebreaker. Just before I do that, is the temperature okay for everybody? For me, I'm a little hot-blooded, so it's fine? Yes? We have a couple new people who walked in. First of all, there's a late fee of $50. Could you just leave it with Shamko for us? And let me get to you guys. Morning, Freddie. Oh, sorry, I didn't do you. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Good morning. I'm Lori Weatherhead, team leader at Caribbean Media Corporation. We have our channel CaribVision, and we're always looking for artists to carry on the channel, carry regionally and internationally. So for me, I'm just here to learn more about the contracts. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Freddie Hill, Fast Promotions.
Hi, good morning. I'm Odwin Trenton, also known as Don Trent. I'm just here for the general knowledge and to be enlightened as it regards this area. Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
I'm Darren Grant, a music producer. I've signed 1 or 2 bad contracts and 1 or 2 very nice ones. So whenever I can learn more, I'd like to learn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I do apologize to Lori if we're missing. I thought you were COSCAP staff already, see, so we're giving you. All right, let me hand over to Keith and John, and then they'll take it away for us for the rest of the sessions. Thanks very much.
Right, I was hoping to have the printed documents come through, Erica. That's all. Is that okay? Okay. Okay. I was hoping to have some printed paperwork for you here for this activity, but I'll put it on the screen since it's not here yet. Just hold on a second. I'm used to that. It's HDMI. Right. Somebody's already said this because it's quite important. I assume, probably wrongly, because you're all working in the creative industries. Sorry. I assume, probably wrongly, because you're all working in the creative industries here in Barbados, that you kind of all know each other. Is that correct? No. Okay. Well, one of the things that I've found over the years in these kind of events is afterwards. Certainly today, most of the people in the room are operating at really quite a high level. It was very difficult for us knowing before we arrived what kind of level people were operating at. So some of the things that we will be talking about will be quite basic, but hopefully there will be enough additional information and knowledge that it will be worth your while. But one of the things that I've always found over the years is at the end of the talk, I quite often get people dashing up to talk to me about, my experience, whereas in fact, probably the most useful network that you can form is amongst yourselves, because you are kind of all like-minded individuals who can help each other. And the chances are that one of the things that you will find today is you actually find out about somebody here in Barbados that you weren't aware of before that can help you further your business. So the first activity, we call it an icebreaker, but it's an activity which will be a stimulus for some discussion about how you further an artist's career. So, did the papers? Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to break up into groups of 4. Okay. So if you can just arrange yourselves into groups of 4 people for a discussion. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to circulate 2 sheets of paper. The first one, the first sheet of paper will be a list of assets, as I call them. So, looking at it from the point of view of an artist, assets are things like charisma, a good voice, a good business team, and so on and so on. So there's going to be a list of assets. The other sheet of paper is going to be a diamond. Can I just hold I was going to put it on the screen, but I'll show you. The other sheet of paper is going to be a diamond like this. Okay? So in each group, what I want you to do is put the assets into the order of most importance. Starting at the top, the most important thing will go here, and the next most important will go on the second line, right down to the least important at the bottom. So have a discussion about what you think of the list of assets I give you are the most important in terms of making a successful artist. Okay? So I'd like you to discuss that in your fours and put them into your diamonds. Okay? So if you can go get in your fours and start to do that, the paperwork should be coming around with the assets and the diamonds. 1 diamond per team. Thank you. Yeah, 1 diamond per team. Yeah, exactly. So just one diamond for group of 4. So I want you to agree on the most important things in your fours. Yeah, there's just going to be 1 diamond in each group of 4. Okay? So you have to agree in your group of 4 as to the order. It doesn't matter if one of the groups is a 3.